Hello and welcome. I'm Jason Gray, and in this book breakdown we're going to be looking at The Aladdin Factor by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. So this book was mentioned many times by mentors of mine as a monumental book in their thinking and helping them to drive success for them and for others. And I was holding off for whatever reason on getting it and read it last week. Really enjoyed it. I will say it's written slightly different. So there's the overall story, and then in between the story there's different anecdotes and quotes, which are all good, but it threw me off in the beginning, made it a little bit more challenging to read. Not much, but I would rate this an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. Definitely a great read. So it starts off with the Aladdin Factor. You know, even use some scripture here. It says, "Ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For every one that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened." Matthew 7, verse 7 through 8. So that's a biblical reference. Of course, Aladdin ties back to Disney's Aladdin and using some of that storyline. And then the moral of the story is, as you can probably guess, ask and you shall receive. If you don't ask, it's never coming your way. And if you don't ask clearly and specifically, you're not going to end up with what you truly want. Or you might not know what you truly want. So ask clearly, ask often. I mean, you can cut off the video right now and go apply that, and that will do wonders. If you don't ask, you don't get. Gabriel looked for her long in the face, but the firelight began being faint. There was not much to be seen. "My love," he said, tenderly and in surprise and coming closer, "if I only knew one thing, whether you would allow me to love you and win you and marry you after all, if I only knew that." And the woman replied, "But you will never know." "Why?" he says. "Because you never ask." All right. It's funny thing about life, if you refuse to accept anything but the best, you very often get it. So you have to have high standards, you have to be clear, and you have to continually ask for exactly what you want, and guess what? Eventually you will get it. And having those high standards, that's what you end up with. Masters constantly ask for support in many forms. There is no such thing as a self-made man. You will reach your goals only with the help of others. Isn't that the truth? We can look at almost anyone who has mega success. You can look at Tiger Woods or Damian Lillard or entrepreneurs, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, anyone like that, and you might think, wow, they're so great, they're self-made, they did it all. And of course, they did a lot and put in a lot of work. But they had teams and teams and teams of people helping them, supporting them. So the next chapter is about conquering fear. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Also, first jump off the cliff, and you build your wings on the way down. Every great person has fear, just like you, just like me. Maybe even more of it. The difference is their goals, the dreams, what they were asking for is very clear, that they're willing to feel that fear and do it anyway. To keep pushing forward, the more they do it, the fear dies, they become good at it, and they get to where they wanted to go. And they inspire the masses to do the same. You have to imagine the desired outcome. What are you really seeking? Use your imagination, really see it, remind yourself of it. That will help you keep going even when you're fearful. Ask yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen? Usually the worst thing that happens, someone says no, or they disagree, or for a short while someone's not in alignment with you. Big deal. Oftentimes if you don't ask, it's the same result anyways. So ask, and good things can happen. Here's a story. One day it dawned on me. I was standing in the hall outside the door of someone I wanted to go get an appointment with. I was having trouble getting to see him, and the secretary had just told me that the person was busy and that I could not go in. I figured she was just doing her job of protecting her boss from time wasters. I, however, didn't feel that what I had to offer was really a waste of time. I knew that my service had the potential of saving this man a lot of time and money over the years. I also knew that if I simply opened the door and went in anyways, the worst thing that could happen is the man would throw me out of the office and I would be back in the hallway. I figured I was already in the hallway, so it couldn't get any worse than it already was. So I opened the door and walked right in, and you know what? I got the account. The buyer said, I figure anyone that is that determined to get an order will probably be that determined to meet our needs. And think about this, can you survive it? So if things go wrong, if the worst thing that happens to me, will I be okay? Can I get through it? If so, it's probably worth the risk, right? The risk of whatever you're scared of. Realize that you haven't really lost anything. Think about what's the best thing that could happen. That might drive you forward. This might be the perfect customer, the person who gives me the job. This could be my wife or my husband. Lots and lots of great things can happen if you just speak up and ask somebody with what you really want or what you're thinking. And you could be realistic too. What's most likely to happen? Be prepared for that likely outcome and be okay with whichever one happens. Realize this, everyone else is afraid just like you. We're all mortal. So that should give you a little more confidence, knowing that they understand you and that the people that inspire you or that you want to be like in certain areas of your life, they have or had that fear as well. The thing I point out to my students is that they think that they are the only person in life that's afraid of everyone else. Looking out of their eyes, they think, oh, that person over there is so strong. They're so confident. They have all the answers. They've got everything. And I mean nothing. And I mean nothing to them. We all have our internal fears and self-doubts, and we think everyone else doesn't have any. We think everyone else is just so perfect. Then I point out that everybody else is just as afraid. In a large group, I ask, which of you is sure that the other people in the group are totally confident? They all raise their hands because everybody is always sure that the other people are totally confident. Then I ask, well, which of you is the confident one? Nobody raises their hand. So then I point out that everybody is scared to death. That kind of levels the playing field. Once we realize everybody is at the same level, we are all scared to death, that gives us a little bit more courage to go for it and make some requests. Feel the fear and do it anyways. You gain strength, courage, and confidence every experience in which you really stop and look fear right in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror. I could take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing that you think you cannot do. Eleanor Roosevelt. That's only about half the book of notes there. I want to save the rest for you. But there's advice on how to apply all this to relationships and business and work and spiritual life. So great book. I'll put a link in the description below. Go pick it up. And let me know what stood out to you and what experiences that you have along asking or not asking in your life, and how that played out, what we can all learn from you, and maybe I'll share one below after you guys. Until then, join me in the pursuit of greatness.